Hi, welcome to this video day, which is on the 14th of September. It's Saturday. Just going to be looking at a couple of Forex pairs today. Both include the Canadian dollar. We're going to look at USDCAD and also CAD JPY. We'll go to the charts in a moment. Now, when we're trading the Forex markets, we're always looking out for what is the most oversold or most overbought currency. This is just in general terms, looking to see if the bullish or bearish news is peaking and then looking to go the other way. Now, in a video yesterday, I featured the British pound, which is obviously the most oversold currency in 2019. We've looked at it over the last few weeks. The bearish news exhausted for the pound mounting a really good rally. I think there's more upside to come. Now, in yesterday's video, I did do GBP CAD. Now, in terms of GBP, most oversold major currency, which is the most overbought in 2019, well, it's the Canadian dollar. GBP has soared about 500 pips on the Canadian dollar. And there's other currencies that are going to be going up on the CAD, in my view. It's bullish news is exhausted. And I think, going short the CAD against the USD, and in particular the JPY, look really great risk to reward trade. Sentiment is still pretty bullish towards the CAD. The bullish news is exhausted, so we're looking for the CAD to go down. So right, let's go and take a look at the charts. But please do keep in mind, it is my view. As of right now, it can of course change in line with the market conditions. If you want all our trading techniques and our daily technical sentiment analysis of 14 Forex pairs, including the two we're going to look at right now, you can get live access to our member center for a limited period on the link beneath this video. Right, trade setup we're going to do first of all is going to be USD CAD. Right, on the USD CAD daily chart in this video, I'm not going to do the weekly chart, but I've got weekly targets of 138 and then 140 on the upside. So basically 700 pips from where we are now. Now, before I do my technical levels, just want to go through some points I've listed out. We've said that we believe CAD most overbought currency generally. Which currencies do you want to sell it on? Well, we've already said in the intro the most oversold currency of all, which was the GBP. But we like the Canadian dollar short on the big two safe havens, which are obviously the USD, JPY. It's also a sell on the Swiss franc as well, in our view. We prefer the yen just simply because it's faster moving and more volatile. CHF and JPY kind of correlated. Now, in terms of fundamentals and sentiment, is the bullish news exhausted for the CAD? Our own view is yes, and the reason why we believe this is market view is the Canadian economy is doing well, so interest rates will remain on hold. Well, the Canadian economy is doing well. It's doing far better than most other major economies. Rates on hold, that's already factored into the price, okay? So the good news there is discounted. But look at point number two. Both headline and core inflation are at the Bank of Canada's target, okay? But unlikely to move higher, okay? It's probably going to hang around the Bank of Canada's target. So, will they cut? My own view is, yeah, and the market's not expecting it. The Bank of Canada, in their last meeting, were very focused on downside risks. You can go and read the statement. They're very worried about trade wars, for example. There's some optimism they may be solved. We don't agree with that optimism. But even if they are, the global economy is slowing. Okay, the slow up is accelerating. So a cut is likely going forward. Other central banks are cutting, and the Bank of Canada are very mindful of this. If we get risk off, we've got risk on at the moment, that could accelerate a cut from the Bank of Canada. Crude oil, we believe, is going to have a big break longer term to the downside. Commodity prices are falling because the global economy is slowing. That's bearish for Canada. And the Canadian dollar, Bank of Canada don't want it too firm at all because it impacts upon trade. So I think the good news is in the price, and the risks are there for the Bank of Canada to shift to a cutting bias. Okay, now on the other side we've got the Fed and USD potential rate cuts coming. Got the Fed next week. A rate cut of 0.25 basis points is basically totally discounted. So too is another rate cut before the end of the year. Are the Fed likely to cut by more? Well, we'll be very mindful when we come into the Fed how the price action is, but no, they don't need to. They don't even need to cut rates at all, really, if you look at how the US economy is doing. So I think the bad news for the USD is in the price. Bullish news, like I said, for the CAD has peaked, and you've got smart money selling. Now let's go to the chart. Now, when the US dollar fell down here, smart money bought heavily into this level, just above the 130 level. It's the first time in a year and a half smart money had gone long the Canadian dollar. Same time specs went short. We just came in and bought above this 20-day moving average, the green line. And yeah, I know I say it regularly, but if we're looking for a strong price rise, we will use the 20-day moving average as one of our layers of support. We go up quite nicely, try and get through, calm, get through briefly, come back, get through briefly, come back. And then we got stopped out in this big red and basically didn't get much out of that move. Yeah, when I say not much, it's a fairly sort of low volatility move to the upside. It was 240 pips. Now, in terms of what we've noticed is smart money stepped up their buying as the USD fell to here. We're currently in at 132.25, so basically about 50 pips up on our position. But this just looks like a normal correction, not a trend change, okay? And now we're moving nicely to the upside, and we're back through the 20-day moving average, which we take as bullish. Just draw trajectory in. Get my line straight. So basically, we now expect the bottom of this candle, which is also a round number, 132, to hold pullbacks. And we've got our stop pretty tight on this one. It's 131.20 at the moment. So we're only risking just over 100 pips. We're expecting big upside, okay? Now, obviously, you've got a big cluster of candles here, but we're looking at the sentiment fundamentals behind the chart, so we don't think this area here should provide too much resistance. We're looking for a move back up to chart highs, then onto 138, and then 140. Now, in terms of this pair, obviously, do have the Fed on Wednesday, so we might change our view by then. But in terms of our long-term view, I think with the Fed we might become cautious, take some of our trade in or all of it and reset. Have to see how price action goes. But my own view is USD going to go far higher on the CAD. So it's been an okay sort of trade for us, the last one. This one we're hoping is going to be a better one than the last one. This pair hasn't really moved that quickly, but looks a decent setup to us. Now, what we're going to do is look at CAD JPY, and in CAD JPY I just really like the look of this trade setup, just due to the very clearly defined risk to reward and payout v risk. So let's go and take a look at it. CAD JPY daily chart, and in terms of the weekly chart, I'm again not going to do it in this video. I'm just going to give you my downside target. You can check out my weekly chart for yourself. It's 70. We closed at 81.34. So I'm looking for a big move to the downside. Now, in terms of just quickly before I do some levels, fundamentals and sentiment, global growth up, accelerating, no end in sight. Trade wars ongoing, market too optimistic of a solution, even if solved, global economy will keep slowing. I think I might have said that when we did USDCAD, but it's very important in terms of the yen. The yen is the biggest safe haven currency of all. It's going to get big money flows into it, and that will basically be a factor unless the global economy can turn back to growth, which we don't think is likely. Yen oversold on a historical basis. unlikely to play catch up. Obviously, we believe the CAD is overbought. Now, in terms of this pair, recently we haven't really had much out of it at all. We've got this big breakdown there, got stopped out, got a profit, went short again, got stopped out for a loss. So one profit, one loss, not really got anywhere. But now I'm just so bearish. I just really like the risk to reward trade, risk to reward on this trade. Now, I've written it here, bearish definition candle. That is a defining candle. Okay, that candle would have to be totally retraced to negate our bearish view. It occurred on August the 1st. If you don't know why it's a defining candle, you can look it up, but it's extremely important. Now, the expected downside payout against the risk in terms of this trade is really, really good. And I'll show you why. Obviously, here we break down, choppy sideways action, come back up to test the level. You see two pokes, low volatility, can't get up there. It's a round number as well, which are always big levels, okay? A lot of order flow around them. And then we came off on Friday and we've gone short. Now we've gone short at 81.45. And basically, yeah, we're not too far away from that level, are we? We're at, sorry, I'm just trying to get my line straight. We're at 81.34. It's only 10 pips away. So basically what you got is that zone there. There's two trend lines there. First level of resistance, second level is behind the definition candle. So there. So stop needs to be behind there in our view. And obviously we view it as a short. Where are we going? Obviously we're going longer term to 70, but even we just got this spike candle low, you got 3 to 1 in terms of risk to reward. So the expected downside payout against the risk for us is really, really good. And yeah, longer term, I'm looking to see if that can run on to 70. Obviously, you always get twists and turns along the way, but this pair now really interests me, and I put a reasonable size position on the trade. So in terms of the sentiment towards the CAD, I just think the bullishness will peak, CAD going down. So we'll see how these pairs go, but like the risk to reward on both, particularly this one, we will update them in future videos, or you can follow our daily views on these pairs in the member centre. Thank you very much for watching me as usual. Take care. Have a good day.